So all those shows y'all see on TV about swamp people, and y'all wonder if there's really that many alligators? Yes, it is. I'm down here in South Louisiana fishing. There's one over there, one over there.
Television has a unique way of connecting us to people we've never met. Week after week, season after season, we follow their lives, their triumphs, and sometimes their tragedies. On Swamp People, viewers have spent over a decade watching the tough and resourceful hunters of Louisiana's Atchafalaya Basin brave the dangers of gator-infested waters. These aren't actors reading from a script. They're real folks facing real challenges in the bayou. But reality TV doesn't always show the full picture. While cameras catch the thrill of the hunt, there's often much more happening when the spotlight is off. Over the years, Swamp People has undergone major transformations. Some cast members have left the show voluntarily, some were let go unexpectedly, and others faced life-altering events off-screen. This video isn't about sensationalism, it's about shining a light on the journeys of Swamp People cast members, past and present, and the surprising realities behind some of their departures. Let's dive in. Bruce Mitchell, the bandana-wearing, gator-wrangling legend from Swamp People, has been the subject of all kinds of rumors, especially when it comes to his well-being. Some online chatter has even claimed he's passed away. But let's set the record straight. Bruce Mitchell is very much alive. However, he's been through something that left a deep mark on him and on fans who followed his journey. Back in 2014, Bruce lost his beloved dog, Tyler. And for those who followed the show religiously, you know Tyler wasn't just a sidekick. He was Bruce's shadow, riding in the boat, charging through the marshes, always by his side during those tense gator hunts. The bond between Bruce and Tyler was something fans connected with instantly. It was real, raw, and rooted in years of trust. So when Tyler passed away, it wasn't just Bruce who mourned. It felt like a shared loss. Bruce took some time away from the cameras after that, and though he's no longer a regular on the show, he hasn't vanished. He still makes occasional appearances and engages with fans online, reminding everyone he's still that same tough Louisiana native who taught us all what grit looks like out in the swamp. Then there's Brandon Landry, a name fans know well, not just for his gator-catching prowess, but for his laid-back, steady presence on the boat. Brandon seemed like he'd be a long-time staple on Swamp People, but then he faded from view. Cue the internet rumors once again, with some even suggesting he had passed. But the reality is far more heartbreaking and far more human. Brandon has been facing one of life's hardest challenges, a serious illness in the family. His young son was diagnosed with biliary atresia, a rarity in liver diseases that requires constant care and attention. And for Brandon, the choice was simple. Family comes first. He stepped away from the spotlight not because he couldn't keep up, but because his heart was needed at home. The Gators would have to wait. Fans who have learned the real story haven't just respected that. They've rallied around him. While there's no official word on whether Brandon will return to the show, one thing's clear. His absence isn't the result of drama or decline. It's a testament to his commitment as a father. And that makes him a different kind of hero. Tommy Chauvin brought a quiet intensity and raw grit to the early seasons of Swamp People, working side by side with his cousin, Joe LaFonce. Their chemistry was undeniable. Tommy's sharp instincts and cool demeanor made him a standout. But fans were stunned when news broke in 2019 about a horrific accident that would change his life forever. It wasn't on the swamp, and it had nothing to do with the show. Tommy was reportedly involved in an explosion-related incident at home, which led to the amputation of his right hand. Details around the accident have remained largely private, but the impact was immediate and devastating. After the injury, Tommy stepped away from public life, with no official statement from the History Channel or showrunners. His absence left a void for fans who had grown attached to his calm but deadly approach to gator hunting. While the hope for his return still lingers in fan communities, Tommy's journey has clearly shifted toward healing and recovery, a path far removed from the spotlight of television. And though he's been quiet, his legacy on the show still resonates with longtime viewers who remember the power duo that once ruled the bayou. Then there's Junior Edwards, another name fans still talk about with a mix of nostalgia and confusion. Junior, with his seasoned skill set and tough exterior, became a fan favorite during the show's formative years. His partnership with his son, Willie, was one of the most authentic representations of generational swamp life ever shown on screen. But after Season 6, Junior and several other original cast members were abruptly let go. There was no scandal, no behind-the-scenes drama, just a sweeping change in production direction. The network was aiming for a younger, more fast-paced angle, and many veterans didn't make the cut. For fans, it felt like losing part of the soul of the show. Junior, for his part, didn't disappear. He continued doing what he's always done, living off the land, trapping, and connecting with the swamp in the way only he knows how. He's made it clear that he'd be more than willing to return to swamp people if the call ever came. Until then, fans can still catch glimpses of his life through online updates and social media, holding out hope that the old guard might one day return to reclaim their place in the bayou. Liz Cavalier, better known as Gator Queen Liz, made waves the moment she appeared on Swamp People. Her no-nonsense attitude, bold personality, and fearless approach to hunting monstrous gators made her a force to be reckoned with. He wasn't just another cast member. She was a fan favorite who stood toe-to-toe with anyone in the swamp. But after Season 6, Liz was suddenly gone, and fans were left wondering what happened. While other exits from the show were quiet, Liz's departure stirred up something more complicated. Not long after her exit, whispers began to circulate. Liz herself hinted at tension behind the scenes, power struggles, miscommunications, and a shakeup that didn't sit well with the old crew. Unlike others who took their exit in stride, Liz made it clear she believed something wasn't right. Fans rallied behind her, especially those who felt the show lost a bit of its edge when she left. Despite the controversy, Liz didn't disappear. She launched her own projects, appeared briefly on another History Channel series, and even started a family-run business, proving that the Gator Queen doesn't need a television crew to thrive. Ashley Deadeye Jones took a very different path. Joining the show in later seasons, she didn't have generations of swamp hunters behind her, but she earned respect the hard way. Her pinpoint aim, calm under pressure, and natural leadership made her an instant hit with fans. Off-camera, Ashley balanced her time in the swamp with a career in law and raising a family, showing that strength comes in many forms. By 2024, Ashley made the decision to step away from Swamp People. But this time, it wasn't due to drama or production shifts. Her priorities had simply changed. With her law firm growing and her family needing more of her time, Ashley chose to put the spotlight on pause. Fans respected the decision. After all, she's always been someone who makes choices with purpose and integrity. She hasn't closed the door entirely, leaving open the possibility of returning to the swamp. But for now, Ashley is writing her next chapter, showing that even sharpshooters sometimes trade the rifle for the courtroom. And that kind of transition can be just as powerful as facing down a gator. One of the most emotional chapters in Swamp People's history unfolded off-camera in 2012, when news broke that Mitchell Guist had tragically passed away. Mitchell, alongside his brother Glenn, captured hearts not through wild antics or dramatic stunts, but with their simple, self-sufficient lifestyle. They built their own boats, lived off the land, and had a bond that was unshakable. Their scenes felt different, slower, quieter, and incredibly authentic. They weren't chasing TV fame, they were just being themselves, and fans loved them for it. Mitchell's sudden collapse on May 14, 2012, while working on a boat along the Bell River, sent shockwaves through the community and beyond. At just 47 years old, his death was ruled as natural causes, likely a heart attack. But to those who had watched him on screen, it felt like losing a friend. The show honored Mitchell in a heartfelt tribute, showing just how much he meant to the cast and crew. Glenn, who had always seemed inseparable from his brother, continued on the show for a while, but over time faded from the spotlight. And who could blame him? Their bond wasn't just for the cameras, it was real. And that kind of loss isn't something you just bounce back from. The sadness of Mitchell's passing was followed, a couple of seasons later, by one of the show's most controversial decisions: the mass cast shakeup in Season 6. Longtime fans were stunned, as several original cast members were suddenly gone without much warning. Junior Edwards, Liz Cavalier, Trapper Joe LaFont, and Tommy Chauvin, names that had become synonymous with the show, were all let go in one sweeping move. It was the kind of decision that felt less like a creative choice and more like tearing out the roots of what made Swamp People special in the first place. Theories flew across forums and social media. Some blamed contract disputes. Others speculated that the producers wanted to bring in new faces to keep the series fresh. But fans weren't buying it. The backlash was immediate. Social media pages flooded with comments calling for the return of the veterans. Petitions circulated. People missed the grit, the authenticity, and the deep swamp knowledge that only years of experience could provide. While some familiar faces eventually returned, either in guest spots or spin-offs, others have remained absent, leaving fans to wonder if the show lost part of its original soul during that shakeup. And yet, despite all the losses, both tragic and disappointing, the spirit of the swamp lives on. Whether it's in old episodes that fans rewatch, or in the legends told about the original cast, the impact of these swampers continues to ripple far beyond the bayou. The heart of Swamp People has always pulsed strongest through the Landry family. Troy Landry, better known as the King of the Swamp, has been at the helm since the show's very first season. With his deep Cajun accent, explosive enthusiasm, and flawless instincts on the water, Troy didn't just hunt gators. He taught viewers what it meant to live and breathe swamp life. He's not out there for show, he's out there working, season after season, maintaining the traditions passed down through generations. Troy's leadership and charisma became the glue that held the entire cast together. But the Landry legacy doesn't stop with Troy. Jacob Landry, his oldest son, has evolved from a supporting figure to a full-blown leader in his own right. In the early days, Jacob was clearly learning the ropes under his father's watchful eye. Now he's developed a calm, methodical approach, guiding his own boat, making smart decisions, and mentoring newer hunters. His transformation hasn't gone unnoticed. Fans have watched him grow into a seasoned pro, and the respect he commands now feels entirely earned. Then there's Willie Edwards, another long-standing cast member whose presence brings that no-frills authenticity fans crave. Willie represents the old-school swamp values: hard work, self-reliance, and quiet determination. He's had his share of personal battles, but they've only added to his character. Willie doesn't chase fame. He shows up, does the job, and lets his actions speak louder than any camera could. In a show that's seen plenty of cast changes over the years, the steady presence of people like Willie and the Landrys has kept the spirit of the series alive. Of course, with any long-running show, rumors start to pile up. And when it comes to swamp people, the internet has thrown around its fair share of wild claims. One of the most persistent myths: that some of the cast members have ended up in jail. It's a story that's made its way through clickbait headlines and gossip posts, often fueled by misunderstandings or mistaken identity. The truth is far less dramatic. No current or former major cast member from Swamp People is in jail. Some confusion stems from the fact that a few people share similar names with the cast or are from the same general region. Other times, small incidents are blown way out of proportion to stir controversy. But the reality is that the folks you see on the show are just what they appear to be: real people working real jobs in one of the toughest environments around. They deal with treacherous waters, unpredictable wildlife, and brutal weather, all while staying grounded in family and community. That kind of life doesn't leave much room for scandal. Sure, there have been some bumpy roads. Tommy Chauvin's devastating injury wasn't criminal. It was a tragic accident. Liz Cavalier's departure sparked drama, but not legal trouble. These stories get twisted online, but the facts are clear. The cast of Swamp People aren't dealing with arrests or jail time. They're dealing with gators, hurricanes, and long hours on the bayou. That resilience and dedication are exactly what fans love about them. They're not acting, they're surviving. And they've earned every bit of the respect they've been given. Bruce Mitchell, one of the original fan favorites, still holds a special place in the hearts of Swamp People viewers. Known for his steady demeanor and loyal sidekick Tyler, Bruce continues to make occasional appearances, both online and at public events. Though he's no longer a regular on the show, he hasn't completely stepped away from the swamp life. The loss of Tyler in 2014 hit him hard, and that wound hasn't quite healed. Fans who followed him over the years know that connection was deep. Today, Bruce remains connected to the community, occasionally sharing stories and memories that keep that legacy alive. Brandon Landry's path has taken a different turn. Stepping away from the spotlight, Brandon's focus has been solely on his family, particularly his son, who has battled a rare and serious liver condition. His absence from Swamp People hasn't been due to lack of interest or drama, but out of love and responsibility. Though he hasn't ruled out returning, his priorities have understandably shifted to where he's needed most. Fans still send him messages of support, hoping to see him back one day when the time is right. Tommy Chauvin, once half of a powerful gator hunting duo with Joe LaFont, has been through more than most fans know. Following a devastating explosion-related accident in 2019 that resulted in the loss of his right hand, Tommy has kept a low profile. While the road to recovery has been long and mostly private, his impact on the early seasons of Swamp People remains unforgettable. fans still ask about him, still hope for updates, and still remember his calm, focused presence on the water. Junior Edwards, one of the show's original tough-as-nails swampers, continues to live the life he's always known. Though no longer part of the official cast, Junior still hunts, traps, and lives close to nature. He's made it clear that if given the chance, he'd return to the show in a heartbeat. His skills and no-nonsense attitude made him a staple in the early years, and many fans still hope for his comeback. Liz Cavalier, known to many as Gator Queen Liz, hasn't let her departure from the show slow her down. She's built a family business, remained active on social media, and engaged with fans regularly. Liz carved out her own space in the Swamp People world and continues to maintain that independence today. Ashley Jones brought a new energy to the series in the later seasons. Her nickname, Deadeye, wasn't for show. Her skills were real, and her calm under pressure earned her widespread respect. These days, Ashley is shifting focus. She's working in law, managing a family, and stepping back from TV life for the moment. Still, she hasn't closed the door completely. If the timing and circumstances are right, fans might see her again. Mitchell Gist may be gone, but he's never forgotten. His sudden passing in 2012 was one of the most heartbreaking moments in the show's history. Alongside his brother Glenn, Mitchell brought a sense of quiet authenticity that can't be replicated. His spirit still lives on in reruns, fan memories, and in the simple, rugged lifestyle he championed. Meanwhile, Troy Landry, Jacob Landry, and Willie Edwards remain pillars of the show. They've weathered cast changes, production shifts, and more than a few storms, both literal and personal. Through it all, they've stayed true to their roots and loyal to the fan base that's followed them for over a decade. Behind it all is the voice that guides every twist and turn in the swamp, Pat Duke. His deep, gravelly narration has become just as iconic as the cast themselves. Whether it's setting up a tense gator chase or highlighting a quiet moment of triumph, Pat's voice delivers it with perfect timing and tone. He's more than a narrator. He's part of the experience, helping tie every storyline together with his unmistakable presence. And yes, he's still going strong. Swamp People has been more than just a show. It's been a decade-long journey into the lives of real people living in extraordinary circumstances. The cast has changed, and some have faced real-life tragedies, while others have stepped into new chapters. What hasn't changed is the respect and admiration fans have for these fearless swampers. If you've enjoyed this deep dive into the untold stories behind the Swamp People cast, go ahead and hit that like button, leave a comment sharing your favorite cast member, and subscribe to the channel for more updates, facts, and behind-the-scenes stories from your favorite reality shows. Until next time, keep it real and stay out of the swamp unless you know what you're doing.